Okay, hey parents. So this is what we've done so far. We have picked a topic, and I'm sure you're aware that we're starting now to write about this topic. And the project that we're doing in this unit is really called a book, quote unquote, a book. It's really kind of a 4-part essay. And this example here is only about 2 pages long. But the kids right now are studying events that led up to their topic so that they can give the readers of their quote unquote book some background information. So, if you take a look here, we're going to structure our book in this similar way. And it says that the first chapter is all about the bigger topic. It's not quite that. If you read it on, you will see that this chapter 1 is really all about what led up to the event that this child wrote. This child's name was Naomi. And her event that she's researching is the battles of Lexington and Concord. So if you read through chapter 1, it really describes everything that led up to that point. So I've tried to guide the kids in this way because I feel like that's a more tangible thing for them to grasp. So I've guided the kids with a couple of tools. So we'll start with this. This is what I called Naomi's timeline. And if you look at it, the events that are here somewhat match. I think I did an okay job of matching the events here to here. There might be a couple discrepancies. Yeah. So, and I tried to show them how this information matches with what we call her notes, Naomi's notes, her timeline. Because, yeah, these are notes and they go in chronological order. And the kids know that text structure that she's writing here is chronological order for the most part. So we're using notes that are in chronological order, a la timeline. Okay, so that seems all pretty simple. I think they all grasp this concept because they've got a concrete end date a concrete beginning date and a concrete end date. But the task that they're trying to do now is to try to figure out the timeline that led up to their event. So I try to show them how I would do this for my event, the Boston Tea Party. And that's here in this document. So if you take a look here, I've plotted some things. I first had to ask myself, why did they need to do this event? Why did they need to do the Boston Tea Party? Okay. And to answer that, I tried to answer that in my notes. Why did this event need to happen? Well, the Boston Tea Party was an expression of anger. They were so angry at the British for making them pay all these taxes. So I really tried to emphasize taxes and money, taxes. All taxes were removed except for the taxes on tea, which is something that they loved the most. And then, the frustration that resulted. So I try to answer the question, why did they need to do this, in my notes here. So that's the task that the kids are trying to do. A few things that they're getting hung up on. They're not sure what are appropriate events to go in here in their notes. And I've told them that their end date should be whatever their event is. And so then they're saying, but I don't know what my beginning date should be. Well, for example, one student, actually 2 students, are researching George Washington. And I told them, okay, so really you're researching a person, but what was George Washington's most important moment in this war? And they say, well, probably when he won the war. And I say, well, of course, yeah, you're absolutely right. So I said, so this is what you need to do. You need to backtrack a little bit. Start with Washington wins the Revolutionary War as your end date. And then what are events that led him to that point? So I gave them a few examples. Crossing the Delaware River. That's probably one that you need to plot on here. When did he become a general? I'm pretty sure he was a general in the French and Indian War. So those are some things that you're going to need on your timeline. The beginning of your timeline, there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. It could be when George Washington was born. It could be when he becomes a general in the army. It could be when he joins the army. And how does that position change over the years? Some people have it a little bit more simply. Some kids are studying Boston Tea Party, so they used this timeline and they added some of their own things. Other kids studied something like the Boston Massacre. So their end point is the Boston Massacre, and they're trying to figure out all the things that lead up to that point. So I try to be strategic. I try to give them a timeline that they could use to help themselves, but I don't think they're gathering that information. Like, they're not seeing that this can help them, and they're not seeing how this might help them either, especially when thinking about why did this event need to happen? It's a lot of critical thinking. It's high-level critical thinking, and it's tough. But I think the kids, if they truly research their event, which they should have done already, and think about why was it important in this critical time in history, they'll be able to answer the question, why did this event need to happen? Why did this person need to do this, etc.? Okay? So if you could just check in with them about their progress on their timelines and, their understandings about the American Revolution, and, ask them, hey, do you need more help on this? That would really help them out, and I think it would boost their confidence greatly. Thank you all for everything that you do, and I'm going to try to attach these documents in my messages as well. Thanks.